you guys. It's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, Be VicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all. Hello, 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 you guys. Welcome to another episode of Be Victorious. I am fanning over here, you guys. I had to share this with you guys. To have this young lady here in this podcast series of cycle breakers is a dream come true for me. This young lady was one of the original. When I tell you she was at Kaiser Permanente 30 years ago, I have seen the certificates. I have seen the people that she has worked with. These are the people that I talk about all the time. Dr. Andrew Felidi and Dr. Robert Anda. She knows who they are. She was there when I mean she is a coach, you guys, certified practitioner, all of that, and then some. Miss Diana Bishop is here ready to share her story. Diana, where are you?
Hey,
There she
hey, hey.
is. I am fan facing you guys. For people that know about ACEs, you have to know there were so many key players in making history. This is
Mhm,
history, you guys.
mhm.
This is something that has been out for 30 years, and you had your hand all in it.
I did. I did. So exciting.
I am
Yay.
too. So
Mhm.
tell us
Yep.
more about you. Introduce
Sure.
yourself to our audience.
Right on. So first and foremost, Dr. Torie, you're amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. So a little bit about me, as you mentioned, I've been with Kaiser Permanente 30 years and was hired on to support the ACEs study. I'll get into that a little bit more. But I am, by training, I'm a master's degree in drama therapy and worked at the weight management clinic at Kaiser. That's where the study came out of for 15 years. And then for the last 15 have been in our Center for Healthy Living. So I kind of moved away from therapy, direct therapy, and became a board certified health coach. And now we provide wellness programming to our employer groups. We do worksite wellness, we do coaching, we do education, we build curricula. I write curricula. I mentor. I have a small private practice as well. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I have a 28-year-old or 23-year-old son. I'm married to a prior service military person with a 10 out of 10 ace. He's a 10 out of 10. How did
See?
I find that?
See?
Woohoo! Somebody with a higher ace score than I am. I
See?
don't necessarily recommend it, but
Right.
yeah, so I am just in this certain season of my life where I'm really looking to be more myself
Yes.
and feel proud of the work that I've done and feel confident about the work that I've done as well. Because similarly to many folks who have high ACE scores, I am a recovering codependent. Thank you very much, people pleaser.
Me
And
too.
so it's taken me a really long time to find my voice. And so I've been challenging myself the last couple of years to get back to who, or actually to meet myself, I suppose.
Your inner child.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to find that. So that's a little bit about me.
And it's amazing because when I tell people that the two doctors really started at a weight loss clinic, people don't believe me. It's like,
Mhm.
what? How does that make sense? And then when I put the two and two together, it's like, oh, yeah.
Makes a
So
lot of
I
sense.
always start off, I actually have a class called ACEs 101 because I really want
Mhm.
people to know how it started, the reason why, and that type of thing. So that's what made me kind of go off on a limb. I tried it. I did a case study on myself. I used to be 233 pounds.
Right on. Yeah.
So I
Nice. You understand it?
That's how deep I'm in it to say that, because I was
Mhm,
that interested in finding out about ACEs. I couldn't believe it. When I
mhm,
first found out, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for all my life. So I started off and I lost my weight at a weight loss clinic. And from there, that's when I went into, hey, can I help with some classes to help people and all of that? So that's really how I started too,
mhm,
surprisingly. So yeah,
mhm, mhm.
I'm when I mean in, Diana, I am in.
In.
Now, can you tell us the original ACEs study
Yep.
was how many questions?
Well, okay, so let me tell you how this all played out. Dr. Vincent Felitti is who you were, yeah,
Yes,
and he was the physician who hired me. So he was overseeing back in the day in at Kaiser Permanente. So some people don't know Kaiser is a huge health organization and scattered throughout the United States. But here in San Diego, we had a phenomenal, it was a if you were a Kaiser member in San Diego County, you had to go through this physical system. And so in any given year, we would see, thousands of people in one facility that was going, you'd go kind of like from station to station to get your physical. He was responsible for what was called health appraisal and the weight management program. And back in the day, we used OptiFast, if anybody remembers that whole thing, Oprah and OptiFast. But he was the physician overseeing that. And what would happen is that they would come in, folks would come in for the physical, and then they'd be referred for weight management, go through that program, drop 80 to 100 pounds in less than 6 months, and then come back and
right.
come back and come back. And this drove him nuts. He could have, it's like, why would anybody go through all that hardship to drop all that weight only to regain it again? And so he's just an internist. I shouldn't say just, but he was a very inquisitive kind of guy. And
Mhm.
then, so what he would do is he would take some of these folks who were literally at death's door, morbidly obese, on the
Mhm.
verge, and he would interview them. He started just having, he was curious,
Right.
kind of like nosy in one way. People would be, and he was brave, and he started asking, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me, like, who asked these questions?
Mhm.
What physician has ever had that kind of time? And who, physicians don't typically give a darn. They just want to follow the rules, do what I tell you to, and we'll be good. So his exploration of these conversations that led him to these deep moments with people. He wasn't skilled as a psychiatrist or therapist, and he'd have people literally falling apart in his office because it was the very first that you'll hear this from many of his patients. It
Mhm.
was the first time anyone bothered to ask me the question. It was the first time. So from those initial interviews, he decided to sort of like he's like, wow, if this is happening with this cohort about 10, 20 people, he just
Right.
started small. He had a feeling there was something more to it. And
Mhm.
so because we had the ability to see thousands of people in a year, he created a system for this um, questionnaire. So
Mhm.
it starts out straight, like, do you have a family history, diabetes, and all the usual stuff. And then
Right.
he kind of snuck in some questions
Mhm.
toward the end. And that original, oh gosh, the original physical had way too many questions on it. It was probably like 50 questions because it was physical and emotional.
Right.
And then he started paring it down. And when he started to see some trends, that's when he got with Dr. Anda and said, I'm going to need some statistical research backing here. I don't have the bandwidth, and it's outside my scope of practice. So that's when they got into creating the original study that had 10 questions, right?
Uh-huh.
But when you hear, if you've ever heard Dr. Felitti speak, he's so interesting. He's so very matter of fact.
Yes.
And he's like, how can I say this? He'll share the stories from these conversations that he had with his first patients, and he didn't understand the relationship with food.
Mm.
And once he started, he said it was like they would come in and it was like confessional and sharing these really deep feelings and secrets about this intimate relationship that food had been for them as a savings grace. It was, he figured out, he'll say, I forget how he says it so succinctly, but something about food isn't the problem, it's a solution. It's a temporary solution
Yep, it's a fix.
to to some really deep pain. And once he started to understand that this was, people were utilizing this stuff, food or whatever it was, you can insert whatever,
Mm-hmm.
as a coping mechanism, he's like, holy heck. Then he started to understand what was what was going on over a lifetime. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the statistics from the original study, you'll see that, unfortunately, those first two waves of people are Caucasian with health insurance and mostly well educated and
Mm-hmm.
also older. So it's a lot of folks over 50. So what he started to put two and two together was that the higher the ACE score, the higher risk for comorbidity or actually premature death
Mm-hmm.
because of these coping skills over time become so destructive to body and mind.
Right.
So yeah, that's how that went.
And I love it because that's how it went for me trying it on myself.
Mhm.
I took my statistics to the clinic and said, listen, you're going to have people that are going to want to come back, or they're going to come back because of
Mhm.
their coping mechanisms. So when you do your second challenge, I challenge you, can I do a class? And that's how I got my classes started. But that's actually also how I started this podcast because I knew that I wasn't by myself. I
Oh no.
knew that people have ACEs. I knew, again, me surprisingly being 229 pounds. I
Mhm.
knew what it was, exactly what Dr. Felitti said. You know what I mean? I knew that. But then I also, the researcher in me, knew this is what I wanted to do. So that's when I went to the CDC and said, hey, I want to do a study. Can I please? And they were, that's one of the things that I love about the CDC because there's so many other, there's thousands of studies in regards to this one. And this is the reason why I tell people this is the second largest study in the United States, the second largest. But I also let people know the study came from the United States, but it's a worldwide issue. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Uh,
here we are.
yeah.
So,
Have you ever heard his quote, Dr. Filletti's quote about obesity? He said something like he had a woman she in his office and she was staring at the floor and she said, uh, being overweight is being overlooked, and overlook is what I need to be
mm,
for safety. Yeah.
mhm,
So when you're when you're obese, nobody looks at you, nobody looks you in the eye. And and what he saw with especially the correlate between we're talking about significant like 80 to 100 to 200 pounds
yes,
people with their sexuality, when you drop them down and they don't know what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden people start, well intended people will come up to you and say, man, you are looking great. And you're like, "Hmm, get away, get away,
right,
get away. Don't look
right.
at me. Don't get close to me." So I just think it's so interesting to understand and have that compassion for what
Mm,
people are trying to do to just to keep going.
that's it. So I went back after I lost my weight and wanted to lose some more for the keep going. I needed,
Mhm.
I realized after the you can do it give me two more, those words of encouragement is really what I needed. So I
Mm,
started coming back for the class for the people that were in the class,
mhm,
encourage them to tell them. So that's really how I got into like the coaching aspect of it
mm,
because you can do it. Give me
yeah.
two more. Give me three more. You need those type of people that are going to help you, especially for those that didn't, they have the challenges out here. Lose 20 pounds, you get this. What about the ones that don't? So when I mean Diana, I was in it. I was in it, and I was doing this around the same time that I was actually in school doing research, getting a degree. So it was personal, but it was also helping me with getting my own study and doing what I needed to do to get that information out there and that awareness out there. So, yeah, it's a little deep for me, but here we are. ACEs awareness in education. So you knew about ACEs. You learned about ACEs. You know about the ACEs categories,
Mhm,
but professionally, so personally,
mhm.
which one do you relate to the most?
So it was it's interesting. It sort of hit me like a ton of bricks. So while I was working there, I was just kind of doing my job, wasn't thinking about ACEs on a personal level at all, just doing what I need to be doing. And then we had a phenomenal psychotherapist, Dr. Brian Ullman, who I think you've seen.
Yeah, I have met him. He's
Yes,
having a seat very soon. Yes.
he's a dear friend and colleague of mine, and the game changer.
Yes,
Brian is something, and I
he
love him to bits. But he came in and did a training with us, and I, I cannot tell you, Dr. Torie, what he said, but something got me to thinking about, oh my gosh, I've never taken my own ACE score, and what am I going to do with it it's just like, because I was, let's see, 30, 31,
is.
31,
Mhm.
probably when that
30 years ago,
sort of
he
went going on, and was very much in denial of it because I'm a mental health professional,
Yeah,
right? Who
yeah.
somehow or another got through grad school and never kind of faced any of that kind of stuff. So when I took it and started to do some inventory, personal inventory of it, it started to shift my work, which was a good thing. It led me interestingly into a divorce because I
You're
was,
you're with me in the household dysfunction category.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
So that awareness, I had to start kind of being honest with what was happening. I had to break free. I did some funky things too because I had been such a people pleaser. And then when I started breaking free, I kind of went too far the other way.
See?
But anyway, so I guess what I would say about that is that the journey of working for Kaiser, doing the work. So I was doing drama therapy with profoundly, how can I say this? What's the profound? With women who had been through significant traumatic events,
Mm-hmm.
but were brave enough to come and be with me and play, because drama therapy is about utilizing
Right,
theater skills to create an atmosphere of safety, but also an environment, because there are no words for some of the pain.
right.
There's no way, because it's so deep and developmentally it may have been pre-vocabulary, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be with other women and to watch them bond together for the first time in pain, but to find that common language.
Mm-hmm.
They the first time ever being accepted for who they really were. And for them to allow me into that world with
Right.
them, to walk with them through their journey was probably the biggest honor of my life, was because they finally had a social network that wasn't going to put them at risk.
Right.
Right? So I think that, and then walking my own walk, and it was extremely painful.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to face some things that I hadn't wanted to face. But I will tell you, I hope this is true, that it changed the way I work.
Absolutely.
And I think people, you know how you can smell when somebody's like not real and
Mm-hmm.
it's talking out of their tush?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
And so there are a lot of people in this field that have no right, no business really, because they're like, they think they're all that. And especially in social media, there's a bunch of folks that really hurt me
Yeah.
in my heart because you're watching them and they're putting stuff out there that's not real.
Right.
And and so in that, so my journey has really been about that authenticity, and to people can like when I'll start to talk, especially in a coaching session, they're like, "You get it." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and I call myself a trauma translator.
I can tell.
I speak that.
Uh-huh.
I get that.
That's right.
It's all good. And what's been lovely, I would say also, I don't know if you found this as well, because I was watching the podcast recently you did with a man. Men are forgotten in this to some extent, and the way we work with men, there's a different sensibility, and it is. I love working with guys,
Me too.
and so
We'll talk about that one.
yeah. Anyway,
We
so I
have
think
a
that
study. I actually have a study right now with Wayne State University. I'm doing with a professor there. His name is Andre Charlie. We did it at his conference last year.
nice.
We presented it to Wayne State this year. All of their people were there and they were like, "You're doing this again, right?" Because the data. So I'm the data.
Hmm.
That I love it. My undergrad was in psychology, the research aspect of it. So the data is
Hmm.
fun for me.
Hmm.
And we did it in the men in that room. It was a male conference. They were like,
Yeah.
so these are the
Mhm.
discussions that we have to have. So
Yeah.
trust me when I say I know you know. So understand
Mhm.
this work that we are doing, Diana, it is of something. And when I tell you it's going to impact so many, as you've seen as we've worked together, it's spreading. We got to continue this education. We got to
Yep.
continue what we're doing because it's actually really helping, I think. It's the awareness that people need to see. I think that's what's been working because me saying it's time to talk about ACEs, it's definitely time now. They're
Mhm.
definitely,
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
definitely,
A little mind blowing what's happening in the world right now, but yeah.
especially.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the reason why I kind of want to split this up
Okay.
because we have the introduction of ACEs.
Hmm.
It was 30 years ago,
Hmm.
and times have shifted, things have happened.
Hmm.
But it's 2025. I want to say they started looking for participants between 1995 and 1997, correct?
He actually was dabbling a couple years before that,
Okay.
but he got connected with the CDC in 95, and
Hmm.
that's when they started to really formalize it. Yep.
So this is what we're going to do.
All right.
I would love to dab in on what's going on in today's society because I think the awareness really is working, but I think people have to understand the purpose of what happened in 1995 and the recent updates.
Oh yeah, thank goodness. Yeah.
Yes. So this is what we're
Mhm.
going to do if you're okay. I
Mhm.
think I actually have not had a part two since episode 20. Episode 20 was one of my close to this day. He is one of my closest friends. He's helped me do research. We have a young lady that is at the University of Liverpool. She's getting
Mm,
her doctorate degree in ACEs education.
nice.
So I have my hands everywhere. I think what we're going to do is do a part two where we can continue to have this conversation so we can delve in together
Mhm.
and let people know those updates. We know about the first three categories, which was the abuse,
Mhm.
the neglect, and the household dysfunction. But what I've been diving in, the reason why I got out of education, the reason why I took a leap of faith, I did, and did this. for
Mhm.
ACEs Education Worldwide is because of 2023 and the updates. Well,
Okay.
let's get back together, have this conversation, and go from there. Because I think those recent updates were needed,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm so glad that they're there.
Mhm.
We're going
I
to time out, you guys. Go ahead and say what you're going to say,
What I
Diana.
was going to say is social determinants of health are really where I come from in that way to see
Mm-hmm.
that evolution
Mm-hmm.
of what we now. It's like, come on now, let's really look at this big picture.
Yes. So we're on the same page. You
Okay, okay,
guys,
okay.
this is so we'll say, and we're doing this spontaneously, you guys. This is part one of this episode. We're gonna come back and do episode part two here shortly. So stay tuned. Another episode. This time, don't forget your papers and pencils, you guys. Have your papers and pencils ready because that's exactly what we doing, breaking it down so you can understand ACEs as cycle breakers should. See you guys in a bit.